I'm sure many of you would agree with me that this Easter season, this beautiful springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere especially, is often a time of passage for many people, even in a very religious sense. For instance, I think of the children right now who are preparing for their first communion, many who will be receiving the sacrament of Jesus' body and blood for the very first time within coming days or weeks. We think of the young adults who have been preparing for confirmation, many of whom will be confirmed during this Easter season. And of course, there are also thoughts of marriage, I'm sure, by some. And another area that's not religiously based, but certainly can have spiritual overtones to it, I would believe, are those who are preparing to move on to other things after a period of education, whether it be through a grammar school or high school or college or what have you. I know in my own parish, we just recently had the opportunity to recognize some of the young people who will be graduating from high school in a matter of a few weeks. And it's our parish's privilege and opportunity to also recognize some of them by providing them with some scholarship assistance, as many of them will be moving on to obviously higher education. In applying for these so-called little scholarships that the parish is able to provide, we do ask the young person to not only provide the transcripts and an idea of what colleges they're anticipating to attend come next fall, and also maybe have a letter of recommendation or two, but to even share with us in a little letter of their own, in their own words, what their Catholic faith has come to mean to them. And one of the recipients that we were able to honor recently was a young woman who had a very interesting story to tell in her letter that, to me, said something about her appreciating the light that has come into her life throughout the years of her religious formation and education. She spoke about a time that occurred in high school recently when the Wi-Fi was no longer available. Now, I think many of us realize that having access to Wi-Fi becomes very important, even in a classroom where many lessons now are taught on these type of smart boards, I guess they call them, that are able to communicate information that you necessarily don't have to have in a book that's in front of you. In any case, many of the folks in her class were upset that the Wi-Fi wasn't available because it also meant they couldn't use their phones. Oh my God, they were cut off from the world. Some of them, she said, even marched into the administrator's office to complain. But she herself found she had a peace about her, because when she realized that all this craziness that even some of her own peers were showing and wondering how they were so cut off from everything because there was no Wi-Fi available, she knew that she was connected enough with God, that she's never alone. And as she shared her reflections, we realized that she had been developing and nurturing a spirituality within her that helped her be assured that, first and foremost, she was loved by the one who had brought her into existence, and that regardless of whatever pitfalls may come her way or obstacles or barriers that are set up, that presence of God, that light that was within her, was something that would see her through. So for some of her young peers, while not having Wi-Fi was almost like the end of the world, having them cut them off from anything and everything that would be of any value to them, she herself saw something different. I was very much touched by that, to see that story come from such a young individual, feeling very certain that as she continues to grow and mature in her faith, she's going to realize the power of this faith, the power of this light of God that is within her, that will see her through, obviously, many obstacles and the like that come through in any of our lives. I would hope that by sharing that story with you today, if you find yourself down and out and just wondering, do I even have a friend in the world, that you allow your faith to really take hold and that you see the light that is within you as a result of that faith, that assures you of the love, the compassion, and the mercy of God that is with you now in every moment of your life.